Much for joining us today. As everyone's got a drink, you feeling comfortable, ready? Yeah, Tiff's ready in the front. You're not going to want to move for this one. We've got two very, very special chefs who've come all the way over from Houston, Texas, to cook some incredible Viet Texan barbecue for us today. If I can just welcome to the stage Don and Theo from Khói Barbecue. Come on!
So guys.
Yeah, there we go. Amazing. Chefs, welcome to London.
Thank you.
How's it been?
A lot cooler than Texas right now.
Yeah. It's the armpit of Houston
Beautiful.
in summer, right?
Yeah, a lot less
Amazing.
humid. It's been great.
Cool. So please introduce yourselves and your restaurant and tell us why you're here in London this week specifically.
Hi, my name is Don Nguyen with Khói Barbecue. Khói means smoke in Vietnamese. We are a pop-up right now. We're building our restaurant in Houston, Texas. We've been doing barbecue with the Vietnamese twist since 2017. Our family, I was born in Vietnam. We grew up in Houston since I was 5, and food, barbecue, cooking with smoke is kind of an extension of our families in Houston and in Texas as Vietnamese American immigrants.
Amazing. And Theo is cooking as well with us today, doing a little bit of the grilling on stage too. So what are we cooking up today for the good people? We are, the benefit of the cutting room stage, other than this wonderful information, charming, handsome chefs, is that you get to try something delicious at the end of it. So what's the dish today?
We're making thịt nướng, which means char-grilled lemongrass pork. So it's a common Vietnamese street dish. A lot of our inspiration comes from our experiences visiting our family in Vietnam. Street food is a big part of that experience, so we're getting some great British pork, lemongrass fish sauce, and we're going to smoke it for a little bit, marinate it, and then hit it on with fly fire.
Nice. And we're cooking today on this kind of open fire tombre asado, and we also have this amazing piece of German engineering, the Monolith Avant-Garde egg barbecue. This is, have you seen this yet?
Yeah,
it's kind of ridiculous. It's like the Merc of open fire cooking. So amazing ceramic barbecue, all the mod cons. These guys are in the Quayside Hall. They have a little stand if you want to learn a little bit more about the barbecues that we're cooking on today. This is really one of the kind of cream of the crops. I think somebody described it as $2,000 of German engineering on the stage. So that's what we're going to be using today. And so shall we get started? And we can learn a little bit more as we cook. So starting with the pork chops, I guess.
Yep. First thing is to start with really good protein. So Meatopia gave us these beautiful pork chops. You got it? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. We're gonna make a marinade for it first.
And is this a smoked dish or is this like hot and fast?
It's both.
Okay.
So we like to, we're from Texas, so we gotta have some kind of offset smoke, kind of add some flavor. We usually use oak. Add some flavor first, kind of a cold smoke, really low, for 10 minutes, and then we'll finish it on the grill.
It's super interesting, right? Like Vietnamese barbecue culture is enormous, and Texan barbecue culture, as you know, been exported across the world. So what are the kind of the parallels for you? Like when they're kind of different though, right? One's like a little more hot and fast, and one's a little more low and slow. Am I right in saying that?
That's right. Yeah. I think we think barbecue in Vietnam. You walk around Saigon or Hanoi, and any of those cities, there's smoke everywhere outside. Like people are cooking with coals, charcoal, even soups. Like we use charcoal. So the element of smoke in Vietnam is definitely direct heat, hot and fast. Lots of grilling. I grew up in Texas. It's low and slow using offsets. So when we think about cooking, is how do we incorporate different elements of each culture into the dish that we're making.
And Houston's like a fascinating. Has anyone here been to Houston? Yeah, done the barbecue. Have you been out to Bel Air Boulevard, the Chinatown of Houston, where we have some of the best Vietnamese food I've ever eaten in my entire life is available in Houston. I think it's an amazing city. There's so many cultures, and I don't know, the way that I've always thought about it is the place where most viscerally the kind of idea of the American dream exists. You have these immigrant cultures, they come, they're cooking for their communities and building incredible lives in a city that is, it's super diverse, super interesting. There's incredible Middle Eastern, Indian, Vietnamese, Thai, incredible food everywhere you look. It's a fantastic city, and you guys. I mean, it seemed to me when I heard that you guys were doing this, I was so excited because the confluence of Vietnamese culture, Texan barbecue, it just kind of makes sense. And the city is an amazing place to go and eat, an amazing place, amazing southern hospitality all over there, right?
That's right. Houston is truly a melting pot. America, it's the most diverse city in America. I think people think New York City, but in terms of immigrants,
Yeah.
it has the most in the recent years. And I think that's what makes Houston beautiful. It's like a melting pot of everybody. You have Indian, Korean, Japanese, Vietnamese, Chinese. But I think why the Vietnamese ended up there, the temperatures are kind of the same, the climate. So we came after the Vietnam War. But then I think we have a big Vietnam town, big Chinatown,
Yeah.
and all the markets and stuff. So it's a great place to eat.
And it's funny, isn't it? It's kind of on the same longitudinal line as Vietnam, like the Gulf state or the Gulf of the US. So you have like the bayous of Louisiana, where you've got incredible shrimping, and then that's the same like out on the coast of Vietnam, you've got incredible shrimping. So there's a real like multitude of kind of crossover in terms of skills, rice farming, all the rest of it. It's a rice culture really in the south, kind of the southeast of the US and around like Louisiana, southern kind of eastern Texas, and those things work so harmoniously together, right? And I think this dish with a little bit of smoke and what these guys were doing yesterday. Was anybody here the past couple of days? Is this everybody's first day? No, okay. We've got some seasoned professionals in the back. But in the middle of here, you guys were doing, what were you doing this week? You were doing whole hog, right?
We were doing whole hogs. So I was cooking with one of my good friends, Hector Garate from Palmyra Barbecue. We flew in on Tuesday. We built a pit that it's still standing, sort of. But we had cinder blocks. We had a 16-foot pit that we built with the team here, and we roasted 10 hogs over 2 days. So, I think the theme of the way I approach food and he approaches food and kind of what we're talking about today is how do we find similarities? How do we find commonalities between cultures? With me and him, it was more Vietnamese, Puerto Rican, and today we're going to do Vietnamese, Texas, direct heat. And so just how do you tell the story with the food that you're making?
That's
right?
it. I mean, food is all about those kind of influences. It's so much more than the ingredients. It tells migratory patterns and everything. It's beautiful. And yeah, so tell us what we're doing now. We're chopping up some garlic. We've got our chops ready. What's the sort of general process that we're going to do? Is it marinate first? How long would you keep it for? That kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah. So it's Vietnamese thịt nướng. It's the basis is fish sauce. Right? We use fish sauce in pretty much everything. It's kind of pungent, but it's umami. You mix it together. It's really delicious. The other ingredient of this dish is lemongrass. So we use fresh lemongrass stalks. It adds a lot of brightness, a lot of freshness. So when you cook with lemongrass, my mom uses it to season soups. We'll use it in stir fries. You want to kind of smash the base down to release the oils, right? And then you can smell it. It's really fragrant.
Yeah, it smells incredible.
Yeah.
It smells absolutely incredible.
So those are the two main components of this dish. It's lemongrass fish sauce. We're going to use some sugar to kind of get the caramelization for the grill, and it's going to be super delicious.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Vietnamese food is kind of, it's quite fresh, really, isn't it? Like, in terms of you using tons of herbs, using lots of kind of bright flavors. You got kind of the punch of vinegars and lime, as well as the kind of like the herbs and everything that's going through the dish. How does that? That's kind of the antithesis of what you got in Texas, really, right? With the kind of sweeter sauces and that kind of thing. But you still have sugar. You still have smoke.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of the idea behind Khói Barbecue, right? So I grew up in Texas, and we were like, when we got into barbecue, it's everybody thinks salt, pepper, paprika, lots of fatty cuts, brisket's amazing, beef short ribs, and Vietnamese is kind of on the other spectrum of the where it's super light, lots of herbs, lots of soups, lots of balance, and so when you put the two together, I think it creates a really, really nice, balance between the heavy and the light. And
so what kind of things could we expect on your menus? You guys aren't open yet, is that right? You're doing pop-ups in the backyard? Is that what I'm led to believe?
That's right. Yeah. So we have we're working on a restaurant right now. We're about to undergo permitting. We're looking to open second half of next year.
Cool.
So right now we're doing pop-ups once or twice a month around Houston.
Amazing.
From the property. So.
And am I right in saying that upon looking at your Instagram, I saw a smoked brisket pho?
That's right. Yeah, that's one
Wow.
of the first dishes kind of we were known for. My mom's pho. We smoke all the brisket kind of like traditionally, 16, 18 hours on the offset. And then we'll use the bones to make the pho stock.
Wow.
And so it adds a smokiness to the broth, and then, can't go wrong with Texas brisket,
It looks,
right?
guys, if you haven't had a look at the Instagram, what's the Instagram?
Yeah, it's Khói Barbecue, Khoi.
Take a look. The smoked brisket pho looks insane. And then there's tons of other like kind of little crossovers there, right?
That's right. Yeah, we love curries, right? We're in England right now, so you know what curry, how delicious it is. So we use we make a coconut curry. Use a lot of galangal, garlic, and we pair it with beef short rib, right? And it's super delicious. We make garlic rice and traditional Vietnamese sausages as well. So we make our own sausages. We get a lot of inspiration from traditional Vietnamese dishes that we can throw into sort of Western barbecue as a vessel.
Beautiful. So we've got the pork going in, got some chopped garlic, a little bit of kind of bashed up lemongrass, and then there's a little heat going in. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we got some Thai bird's eye chilies. I like a little bit of heat. So we'll dice some of these up, put it in the marinade as well. We'll have some shallots for a little bit of sweetness, and then we're going to add my favorite ingredient, fish sauce, and then
Mine too. I love it.
Sugar.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And so when you're kind of cooking indirect with the sugars as well, that's versus sort of pan frying, you're getting a really different reaction, right?
That's
Because
right.
you're allowing the sugars to kind of do their thing.
Yeah, permeate the meat. We usually marinate this dish for, overnight for a day. Today we're doing a little bit of a quicker brine. We made some ahead of time, but I think once it permeates the meat with the salt, that reaction when it hits the grill with some coals, it's a
special smell.
Delicious. Yeah, Theo's already got some going. You guys can see the caramelization. We want a nice coat of sort of sear in there, get some smoke, and then we'll finish it off.
Finish it off, nice.
Yeah.
And are you using like a rind-on pork chop here? Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And is there a reason that you're doing that rather than taking that off?
We like the fat, so the fat kind of is flavor, right?
Yeah.
Fat's flavor, and we want to, when we're using sort of high temperature cooking, having some fat on there is always good to protect the meat part, right?
Yeah, I think pork chops get a bad rep in the UK. I don't know.
Oh,
if
really?
anybody, yeah, a little bit. I think.
Hopefully we'll change that today.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's about what you're doing to them, right? Sometimes I think there's a memory that people have, a lasting memory of a kind of quite grey-looking, dry piece of meat that's getting served next to some mashed potatoes, but maybe that's just British food. But when you're cooking a pork chop like this, it's they're not an expensive cut, right? Like doing something like this, serving it over rice, it's an inexpensive but an incredible amount of flavour that you can pack into a dish like this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially if you've got the herbs and the pickles.
Right, yeah. No, it's a humble food, right? That's what really motivates us. How do we take humble foods, incorporate flavor, technique to make it really delicious? So this dish in itself is a commonly eaten food any city, maybe in Saigon.
What would it look like if I was trying to find this dish in Vietnam? Like what's the scene I'm walking into?
Yeah, you're gonna cross the street. There's gonna be a bunch of mopeds everywhere. To not get hit, you just gotta keep on going. Don't stop. They'll dodge you. Don't try to dodge them. And then there's all stalls everywhere. There's people. That's what I love about Vietnam. Why we do pop-ups as well is there's this mentality. Everybody's out there trying to put their product out, and you'll see. It's called cơm tấm. So cơm tấm means broken rice. And so broken rice is during the milling process, all the stuff that falls out, that's the stuff that's, the least valuable. But then you make into this dish, you pair it with thịt nướng, what we're making today. And it's a really delicious combo that's like an everyday man sort of meal.
Yeah. And Vietnam, is it a 3 meal a day culture, or is it kind of like you're getting a snack as and when you're feeling peckish?
Yeah, we do. We eat a lot in Vietnam, and I think it's like 4 or 5 meals a day, maybe. But I think the biggest difference, growing up in America and going back to Vietnam is we love savory breakfast. So
right.
pho, noodles. We eat that for breakfast, right?
Perfect.
I do like a good cereal, bowl of cereal, but I prefer the savoriness. And so I think, this dish you can find 20, probably people eat it more for lunch and dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the noodle soups are kind of like 24/7.
Perfect. Great. So we've got our veggies in there. So what are you going in
Right.
with your salt, sugar, and fish sauce? now?
Yeah, so we got these beautiful pork chops. We got some garlic, some shallots, and then we're gonna hit it with some fish sauce. You can use this sort of sparingly. I like to get it on both sides. It's really, funky, really salty. So when you first smell it, it's one of those ingredients where, growing up, you're like, my friends are coming over, Mom, like, it smells bad. You're embarrassing me. And then as you get older, you kind of see the power of it
Yeah.
and why everybody in Vietnam, Thailand uses it all the time.
It's
right?
an umami bomb, right?
Exactly. So that's one of the ideas that we had too, is how do we recontextualize certain ingredients that have a a stereotype, and then
Yeah.
really repackage it. Everybody loves barbecue, right? So if you take that, how can I use it in barbecue? Something that's popular as barbecue, and then people, I wouldn't have tried that, but it tastes delicious, right?
And I'm sure, like, to most people here, like, you'd look at Texas as being kind of a fairly conservative, traditional place. What's the reception been like since you started? I know you've got a huge kind of Vietnamese population in Houston, but generally speaking, like, people love it, right? Whether you're you're an old boy in Texas with a 10-gallon hat on, or you're a young kid. People are really enjoying that kind of confluence of the two cultures and the difference, right? I think people are way more open to giving something a go than maybe we give them credit for, right?
Absolutely, and I think that's the joy and beauty of it, right? Food brings people to the table. I think when you look at our lines, for example, when we serve, you see, all sorts of, the whole spectrum of
That's
the
awesome.
population of Houston, the, Latino culture, the Asian culture, African Americans, like everybody. So I think.
Oh yeah. So what have we got
Sugar.
going on there? What have we
Yeah.
got going on?
So we have salt, sugar, and MSG. So
Hey.
is that okay? Can I use MSG? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's the biggest cheer of the day
Yeah.
so far. Fucking hell. Perfect. So just getting that all over the chops.
Yeah, you want to. Yeah. You already have a lot of the salt from the fish sauce, so you can go heavy on the sugar, right? It'll balance out. Like I said, you want that caramelization on the grill. It's what's really delicious. This is the salt. You don't need a lot because we already have fish sauce. So you want it to look like this, kind of cover it.
Can you guys all see that? Let's show it to everyone.
My mom would be really proud.
Oh yeah, there we go. Doing Don's mum
She's
proud.
like, not enough fish sauce. So you can cover like this. What I like to do is put some saran wrap, cling wrap. Is that what you guys call it? Cling wrap?
Yeah, cling film, yeah.
Yeah, cling film on it, and then leave it in the fridge overnight, and then all the flavors will penetrate.
Perfect. So 24 hours in the fridge, and then that's pretty much ready to grill.
That's it.
And so what are we serving these grilled pork chops with?
Today we got some jasmine rice. Traditionally it's broken rice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get some jasmine rice.
And guys, you can find broken rice in a lot of Chinese grocers in the UK. You just look for it. It looks almost like couscous. It's kind of small,
Exactly.
and it cooks up. It's really fluffy, super delicious. It's like
Yeah.
a beautiful, beautiful accompaniment to some grilled meat.
That's right. And it has like higher surface area, so it really gets a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
Versus jasmine. So we're gonna get some Thai chilies, bird's eye chilies in it as well, for a bit of a kick.
Just a couple.
For these, I mean, I like to go more than a couple.
Oh,
but,
really?
yeah.
And I feel
You
like
guys like spicy food?
Yeah, all right, cool.
Today we got like 3 pork chops. I think it's about like 1.5 kilograms, so maybe a chili, 3 chilies.
And I feel like the flavor of the bird's eye chili is really like an important part of it. I mean, I've tried making a similar dish at home, and you kind of use like a roasted Thai chili or something, and it really doesn't have that same like that punch that you want. And I don't know, bird's eye, it feels like quite aggressive at first for me as a chili, but it doesn't stick with you like a roasted chili does that stays on the palate. It's hot, it's fast, but then you get the sweetness of the pork, the balance, right? It's
That's
beautiful.
right. And then I think that's where the sugar comes in, right?
Yeah.
It kind of mellows it out a little bit, and then we'll hit it with some acid with when I show you guys how to make the other fish sauce. So there's 2 types of fish sauce in
Okay.
Vietnam. typically, when you say fish sauce, nước mắm, it's the sort of undiluted. This is what you get from the actual fermentation process.
In the like squid bottle, right?
Exactly.
Or the red boat or wherever.
Exactly. Yeah. So this comes from the vats, usually anchovies. They salt and they ferment it for 6 to 9 months to 12 months.
Okay,
So that's what you get from the store. That's the stuff that's like, wow, it can be intimidating at first. And then what you want to do is kind of dilute it. Add some acid, add some sugar, add some garlic, and then that's what we'll use to top.
And that's fish sauce number 2,
yeah,
right?
It's
What's
fish sauce number 2. It's called nước chấm.
Nước chấm.
Chấm means to dip something in, so it's a dipping sauce.
And that's what we might find in like a bun, like salad bowl, or you might find on the side of like some spring rolls as well, right?
Absolutely.
As like a dipping sauce.
Yeah. When you go to the restaurants and they have fish sauce, when you ask for fish sauce, they're going to give you the nước chấm.
Yeah.
So that's already been sort of diluted. It's
and
like a, being in Houston, you eat a lot of tacos and Mexican food. It's analogous to like a salsa.
Yeah.
All the ingredients are the same, but every family kind of has their different ratios and secrets.
I was going to ask, so what's the secret with your nước chấm?
It is using the best fish sauce we can find.
Which is?
Yes. So we love red boat.
Red boat.
So why it's so good is because it's unadulterated. They catch the anchovies on the boat, hit it with some sea salt, and just leave it there. A lot of other sauces, they'll add water, they'll add sugar, and it's it's perfectly fine to cook with, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you use a really high quality, it's like olive oil or something, right?
Yeah.
In the Western world, olive oil, you want the best kind. It's kind of the same idea with fish sauce, and you can go pretty deep.
It's almost like single origin, like
exactly.
like a whiskey or like something that's been aged in a certain. They have like a select one as well, right?
They do, yeah. And I did a fish sauce tasting in Phu Quoc Island in southern Vietnam, and you can kind of see the different clarities and colors. It's like going to Kentucky and doing a bourbon, tasting.
Amazing. Okay, so we're fast forwarding on time now. It looks like we've got some chops coming off the grill. Theo, you want to tell us what we're looking for here in terms of color? Sorry, he's got the pocket mic. Here we go.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Theo. I'm the younger brother.
Hey, come on!
Cheers. So you guys see, I'm just kind of smoking these chops. The coloring, you just kind of want a little brown. We have the sugar caramelizing a little bit over here before we hit it on the grill. You don't want to cook it too much, but we're gonna cook it again.
So have we got like some just whole pieces of wood in here, right? Just so we're getting we've had the lid down, smoke hitting them just for like 20 minutes or so, huh?
Correct. About 20 minutes or so, because we're gonna hit it on the grill once again. I believe we're just using oak and charcoal, nothing crazy.
Good British oak.
Yeah.
Good British oak. Yeah, single sauce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good British oaks. Apologies. Yeah. And we're gonna go on over to the grill after this.
Perfect.
We'll get it rocking.
I can sort that out if you want. You got it. Amazing. And Don, we're doing the little accompaniments now, yeah?
Yeah, Vietnamese food's really fresh, a lot balanced. So when we serve this dish to you guys in a second, we're gonna try to recompose some of that. But we like freshness. We've got some pickled cucumbers and tomatoes, lettuce, things like that.
So this one we're going just cucumber and tomato with it?
Cucumber and tomatoes today.
Nice.
And some spring green onions.
Beautiful. Excellent. And so this barbecue now is here on the asada. It's pretty hot. So we're going nice and hot on there. We're just trying to get some of that sugar caramelized, render out a little bit of the fat maybe.
That's right.
Beautiful. And so what would you be drinking whilst you're eating com tam in Vietnam, do you think?
A really ice cold beer.
Yeah.
We also like cognac, depending.
A little cognac, you
how,
say? Oh,
yeah,
okay, wow.
Depending
There we go.
on how late we're staying up. But yeah, no, this food, it's hot and humid in Vietnam, so cold beers are the best. Like a lot of the food
I can see the parallels to Texas already.
That's right, exactly.
A little Shiner Bock on the go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Excellent. So we're just getting those going. And so, if someone's visiting Houston, where else would you send them on the trip? If they wanted to see the spectrum of Viet influence on Houston's food scene, obviously, the first stop is with Don, and we're going to have some brisket pho. But then, what are we doing after that?
Yeah, no, Houston. There's a plethora of places you can go, but I think for my friends that come, Tex-Mex is great. Fajitas, and then traditional barbecue. Right, there's a lot of places that are. The Texas brisket, beef ribs, porks, ribs, things like that. And then the community that I grew up with is the Chinatown. So there's a street called Bel Air. You got to go when you're in Houston. It's in Southwest Houston, in a neighborhood called A-Leaf, and it's where all the Chinese restaurants and Vietnamese restaurants are. And that's a community that kind of we hung out with growing up, and the food scene's always changed. That's what Houston's known for. When people say, "Hey, like Houston food scene is so diverse," I think the China, Vietnam town are a big part of that.
Amazing, yeah.
You've been there.
I have been. I have to say, it's not like, New Orleans has the charm of the French Quarter, and it has, all of those kind of, everyone's seen what New Orleans looks like. Houston, I don't know, for me, when I went the first time, I thought it's highways, sprawling, big kind of like cookie cutter houses on the outskirts. And then I got into it, and I met some Houstonians. I went to an Astros game, We got some recommendations. We found ourselves at, is it Pinkerton's Barbecue?
Yeah, Pinkerton's, yeah.
We found ourselves out in Bel Air, on Bel Air Boulevard, sort of driving down, and it is an amazing city. The food that you eat there, the Viet Cajun food that you get, the kind of crawfish boils with Vietnamese influence, some of the most incredible eating. And I don't know, Houston's cool with it, man. I feel like you guys don't need to be on the hype train. You're just happy, I don't know. Like the city, I don't think gets enough love. But if you guys ever get a chance to visit and take, get a truck, as you're in Texas, drive out, eat in some of those spots.
Public transportation is un-American, so get a car. Yeah.
Perfect. So we've got the garnish going. Chops are looking good. How are they looking, Theo? Hang on, pocket mic.
They're looking good. They smell good if anyone wants to come up here and take a little whiff. But the fish sauce is coming alive.
Does anyone have any questions for the boys whilst we're up here? We're getting ready to serve, right? We're nearly there. So let me bring a microphone over to you.
So just interested to know what you're doing with the rind of the pork chop to get that kind of like, are you going for some crunch there, a little bit of kind of crackling style, or are you just leaving it chewy? What's the deal there?
Yeah, usually when we get it, you need a longer brine to kind of get it to be crispy, right? Because you can put some salt on the top and kind of treat it like a pork belly, and then crisp it up. Today, it'll be a little chewy, so I just cut the meat. But usually when we get it in the Vietnamese restaurants, they won't have the rind, right? It'll just be the protein. Yeah.
Vietnamese people love texture, though, right? Like tendon and like skin. That's like a big
tripe.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I think in Vietnam you can have either or, but yeah, we do love textures, in the Asian culture in general, right? Yeah. Like at dim sum and stuff. But tripe is big, and today we'll hard sear it, but yeah, you can take it out and make sausages, as well.
Anyone else? Any questions for the guys? Hello.
What's the one herb you'd never be without?
The one herb? Wow, that's a great question. Cilantro, I guess, which is coriander here, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, we use it in a lot of things. It's the freshness and I think today we'll have some coriander with it as well. It pairs nicely with fish sauce, right? It's just you have that sweetness, that funk, and then some freshness from the coriander. Yeah.
When we were grilling yesterday on stage, we were doing some oysters over there, and we have some parsley, like flat leaf parsley on it, and somebody described coriander as the devil's lettuce to me. So I always thought it was weed, but anyway. And there's, I guess it's, some people have that gene, right, that makes it taste so good. I love it, man.
Yeah, that's right.
But you guys have, Vietnamese herbs like fish mint, hot mint, all of those kind of things, cilantro, all of that stuff is, super complex. And, we have, when you go to a Vietnamese restaurant in the UK, you have coriander and mint most of the time. But if you ever get a chance to go to, say, a Vietnamese-specific supermarket, have a look in the herb section, because the perilla leaves and the hot mint and all that stuff is beautiful stuff.
Yeah, that's what we used yesterday for our dish. We made a pancake, crepe, and perilla, which is, I think, a lot of people are familiar with it from the sushi side of things, right? Shiso.
Oh, shiso,
so that's used a lot. Mint, for sure. Watercress, so yeah. We love herbs in our soups, right? So it's all about balance and flavor.
And also,
basil.
Not just having them raw, right? Combining them with broths and having them, exactly. Almost like a vegetable in there as well.
Yeah.
Super cool. Amazing. How long do we reckon, Theo, on these before everyone gets a little sample?
About a couple minutes. I've got a couple resting right here. Kind of finishing up the rest. A little burnt is okay. It's just sugar.
Want some char?
We want some char.
It's a good caveat there. I'm gonna tell people that. Hey, little burn. Yeah, it's charred, bro. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Amazing.
You always have to check little brother's work, so
Yeah.
Come on over.
let's see.
And do we have some containers? Oh, behind me. Perfect.
Did you temp it? Yeah. Let me take a look.
Oh, yeah,
Does it look good? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you want me
sure.
to start helping getting some rice into some containers?
Yeah,
for
that'd
you?
be
That'd be
great.
great.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Speaking of our favorite herb. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Just like a little scoop in each one. Yeah, yeah, perfect. All right, let's go.
That's right. Yeah. If you're in a pinch, just use the fingertip method. It defies physics. It's just like, no matter how big the pot is, you just kind of, that's right. Yeah.
Is this
But yeah,
the,
2 to 1 is good. Yeah.
the fabled rice cooking?
cooking.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent, guys. Has anybody been to Vietnam before and had this dish? Have you had this? Yeah, amazing. But we got a little smoke on it today. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Going to get some rice ready for you all.
I'm gonna buy one of these. Thank you.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Why not? Get it on camera. Incredible. And how long have you got left in London? Are you going to have a chance to eat anywhere, or you've just been on tobacco docks cooking
We've been
the entire
here
time?
because we were cooking the hogs for 16 hours overnight. But after this, I think we'll have some free time. So we're looking. I said before we leave, I need the proper English breakfast
A proper English have we got any recommendations in the crowd for a fryer?
and fish and chips.
Oh, and fish and chips. Who said that? Oh, fry up at Smithfield's Market. That is a very good shout.
Fryers on Smithfield Market.
Perfect. Right, guys. Well, we're going to get this together. So, just tell us again a bit more about the nok cham. So, what have we got in there? We've got fish sauce. Looks like there's a little chili in there.
Yeah, so Nuk Jam, you see the difference. So base fish sauce you get at the store. This one has vinegar to cut it. It has a bit of water to dilute it because it's super salty. If you don't get this on your clothes. And we add some bite with garlic and Thai chilies. And this you can dip with anything. How we're going to serve it for you guys is we're going to kind of dress it with it and put it over the rice.
You know this okay, chef?
Yes.
Perfect. And so you're just going to dress it, but usually maybe it would come in a little container on the side potentially, or something along those lines.
That's right.
And is there any sort of considerations when you're making something like that? Would you use like a different amount of sugar in a nok cham that would maybe go on fish versus meat, or?
Yeah, and it's really regional. For example, my father's side's from Hanoi, my mom's side's from Da Nang, the middle, and the Nuk Jam, the dipping sauce. The more northern you are, it gets more acidic. They don't like sweet stuff.
Huh.
They're very minimalist,
That's the same with like pho as well, right?
Exactly.
Like Saigon pho.
Yeah, when you go to
Hanoi,
Hanoi,
right?
exactly, they add a bunch of accoutrement, hoisin sauce,
Huh.
and in the north it's just lime juice. So the north, more acidic fish sauce, and then as you go further south, it gets sweeter and sweeter.
What's your preference?
The sweeter and sweeter.
Sweet and sweeter. There we go. Take the boy out of Texas, huh? Perfect. All right. So, carving up these chops now. And do you want to show us how you'd like to present one, Chef?
Yep.
And we can get some out to the lovely people here. Guys, can we get a huge round of applause for Khói Barbecue from Houston?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Serving the lemongrass pork chops, jasmine rice, nok cham. Beautiful. Right,
Hey.
let's get one going.
So you can see it's a pretty quick cook.
Yeah, I mean, you could do this at home, like for dinner,
Absolutely.
like a weeknight dinner, easy,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
So we've got the rice, a little bit of pork on there. And if you weren't firing at the barbecue, could you do this in the oven as well? Do you think you could roast them off
You
in
could,
an
but
oven? Nice?
I would do it in the oven and then finish it on maybe the cast iron or something to
cast
get
iron pan.
get that char.
Like
right?
this lovely Yeti
This
cast
Yeti
iron
cast
pan. Yeah,
iron,
okay,
exactly.
perfect.
We can do one
Just
on
thought
there.
I'd mention that. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. They are very nice cast irons. Wish I'd brought a
Yeah.
bag, to be honest.
No, we love our Yeti family. You know, I work with them, and they make. I'm super. You know, we use the coolers all the time for our pop-ups, but when they were announcing that they were coming out with cookware, I was super excited. So I'm gonna put them on the spot a little bit and say, I really want to walk.
Perfect, guys. We got one. Do you want a bit of cucumber and tomato there?
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
will. Kurt.
start with this one, Don. We'll show the good people watching at home how we want it to look, and then if you guys would like to form an orderly queue, there's going to be a bite. Right, come on. Where's the crowd control? Come on. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. We're going to get